got one, bro?
Yep.
Get it out of there, baby. Come on, he got him some dinner. Bring him on out of there. You got you some dinner, sugar. Bring him on out of there. You got him a bass. Bring him on out of there. Now you go get me one. See, he should have been so. He's nice. Put him in your bag, baby. Take him home. You hear me? Look how proud he is. You would take your picture. You got your phone?
Yeah, no, I got my camera on.
Okay, let me take your picture.
I got my camera on. I'm good.
Okay, you do?
Bass. Yeah.
Small mouth?
Large mouth.
Large mouth. He can put him in the bucket.
After that fish, no damage at all to the Imo Kemushi. Alright y'all, so today I'm going to show you a hack that I do with the Geecrack Imo Kemushi. It's my favorite of the fuzzy lures. This thing slow sinks and just has some crazy drawing power. Imitates what I would think is a bug that's hatching or near the surface of the water. But yeah, this thing is a slayer. So what I'm essentially doing is I'm doing my own version of what Geecrack calls the Neko Hack. So if you look at the Neko Hack, it's basically a similar thing where you stick a plastic pin through the bait and then there's a little hook keep. That way you're not putting as much stress on the plastic when you're fishing. This is kind of that same type of deal, and I'll show you my rigging method too. So the issue with the Neko Hack is that I either have to order them online or I have to drive like 30 minutes away to get them, whereas all this stuff that I'm using today is stuff that I had around the house. So again, essentially what I'm doing is I'm making my own Neko Hack. So I'm taking a clip. This is a VMC, I believe a 30-pound, but the 20-pound works just fine as well. You want one that's a little bit on the smaller end. So what I'm doing is I'm literally putting this clip right through the body of the Imo Kemushi. That way I have a point where I can stick my line through. So there you go. So I've stuck the clip in, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna spin and drill this toothpick right through the other side, the other hole on the clip. So I'm gonna run this through the top, and it's important that you drill it so that it stays relatively straight. While my phone blows up. Okay, and I can feel that's right about there, and it has gone through the hole of the clip. Perfect. And I want to bring it close to the end, but I just want to make sure that it doesn't pop out. So I can feel that it's right about here. So that's good enough. Alright, so after that, you're going to want to straighten your Imo Kemushi, make sure it doesn't have any weird bumps or ridges on it. Okay, and then we're gonna cut the toothpick. And now just make sure you don't cut any of the skirt material. Not that it really matters too much, but if you want to keep it looking as original as possible, that's what you want to do. So you could totally fish it like this. It's already going to be pretty durable, just rigging it this way. But I like to be very extra. So this is what I'm going to do with the super glue and the baking soda. So over here, I'm going to put a dab of super glue right where the toothpick is on the head of the lure. And see there's a little puddle there. The toothpick gets nice and wet, and then just put some baking soda on it. Now, if you're not familiar with baking soda and super glue, what this essentially does is it creates almost like a concrete or cement, and just does a lot better at locking in the super glue as opposed to just using just the super glue by itself. So I'll do that, and then I'll add super glue where I made the insertion on the clip. Boom, another drop there, and then same thing, just spread some baking soda on that. Okay, and then afterwards, we're gonna wash that and we'll continue the video there. All right, y'all, so the super glue has dried. It probably dried when I put the baking soda on it, but you can see the clip is locked down. There's a little bit of the concrete right there, and then you can see that the toothpick is also locked in right there. So now the two ways that I would rig this, technically you could just rig it with a regular hook, but the problem with using just a regular hook is that you know, that Imo Kemushi could easily fall off of the hook as well. So what I like to do is I actually like to use a treble hook and do a line-thru method. So I know that I already cut the line, or I've already pre-rigged this hook. This is just a size 8 Gamakatsu round bend. You can use whatever treble hook you want, but that's what I mostly use for replacement trebles on my hard baits. But essentially what you would do is you would take the line, you'd go through the eye of the clip, and then you would actually tie the hook behind it. So it'll look something like this. So if you're not familiar with the line-thru methods, one thing that I really like about the line-thru method is that when a fish bites and you set the hook, your lure, or in this case Imo Kemushi, is actually going to slide up the line. And so when it does that, all of the leverage of the fight now is between the hook and your rod, where your Imo Kemushi is just going to be kind of moving freely in between. Now, it might get damaged a little by some of the thrashing, but again, that's why I put the toothpick there. So, by doing this, you will catch a lot more fish before your Imo Kemushi breaks. And so my number one way of rigging this would definitely be line-thru. Now, this other method I'm going to show you is kind of my own original method. I think it's my own original method. I don't see a lot of people use it. So this is a method that involves a clip. And I don't think that, again, I don't think that anyone has a method like this. So I'm a clip user. So this one's for the clip users. The reason I'm a clip user is because I have only about 5 to 7 rods that I use for bass fishing. I honestly don't have the money to be spending on, you know, buying 14 to 20 setups, each being used for different applications. So I use a lot of clips. And so this clip method requires you, again, I'm using a dual lock snap from VMC. This one's a 30-pound on one of my BFS setups. So you're gonna open up both halves of the clip, okay? And so what I'm gonna do is after I open up both halves, I'm gonna put the Imo Kemushi through, and I'm gonna slide it all the way to the bottom end of that clip. Boom, there you go. Now I'm going to close the middle section. And so that Imo Kemushi gets locked into that bottom section. On the top section is where I'm going to put the hook. And by doing this, I could use a bigger hook with a little less leverage for the bass to spit it out as they would, say for example, a treble. So put the hook through, lock it in, and voila, my own original clip method. So again, when it comes to this, it might damage the Imo Kemushi a little bit more just because it's going to be a lot closer to the hook when the fish is fighting. But again, most of the leverage of the fight is going to be between the hook and your rod. The Imo Kemushi is still going to be kind of free moving. So these two methods, they're a lot more. They're going to keep your Imo Kemushi around a lot longer, unlike a EWG or a twist lock, where you catch like 2 or 3 fish and your Imo Kemushi is pretty much done and all ripped up. If you use these two methods, you actually have a lesser chance of breaking the plastic early and having to switch to another plastic. So again, you could just buy a Neko Hack from Geecrack. That works just as well, and you can rig it like this too. But if you don't feel like putting in an online order, or if you feel like if you don't feel like driving to a bait shop that's far away from you that does have it, you can just do this method, and again, your Imo Kemushi would catch a lot more fish than it would if you rigged it otherwise. So if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and comment down below if you have other ideas on how to make more durable rigs. Let me know. But yeah, I like to do a lot of experimenting, and this is one of the things that I came up with to make sure that the Imo Kemushi catches more fish before breaking. So all right, thanks y'all, and see you next time.